Hey, this is Anthony Effinger with Willamette Week, and I'm back with another episode of Distant Voices. And today I am talking with Gabe Paez. He's the founder of The Wild, which is a virtual reality collaboration platform. And I thought it'd be interesting to hear from him today because we're all feeling sort of virtual these days. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks. It's nice to be here.
So tell me about your company and what this quarantine looks like to someone with expertise in virtual reality.
It's interesting. I've been working on The Wild now for over 3 years, but this COVID quarantine has really changed the game for us in that The Wild has always been about immersive collaboration. So that's people coming together in virtual and augmented reality and working together inside of a virtual workspace. In pre-COVID, we always thought about one of the core benefits of The Wild is just everyone being inside of this creative workspace in virtual reality headset. But the idea of being able to do that from anywhere in the world really came to the forefront as quarantine started. With The Wild, you can put on a headset like the Oculus Quest 2 here that I have, really inexpensive $300 device. And with this headset on, you can be transported into a shared space with anyone from wherever they are. And what this means is essentially it's an evolution of video conferencing. What a lot of us are very accustomed to now is to sit here in front of a screen and talk to a camera, and you have a bunch of boxes of everyone else. And it's a great capability being able to do that. But I think we're all now aware after this quarantine period that there are some deficiencies there that come to the forefront almost immediately. One would be that you don't have that spatial familiarity with the group of people that you're talking to. There's just like at a dinner table, we sit around a dinner table and you can lean over and you can talk to the person sitting next to you and then talk to the whole group. Try to do that. I mean, probably most of you watching this have tried to do that in a Zoom now and you realize how awkward it is. You need to be having a one-dimensional conversation with everyone. In virtual reality, in The Wild, a tool like The Wild, you can have that same spatial awareness. You can stand next to someone. You can even make yourself larger and talk to the whole group. You can play with space just like we play with space in the physical world. And in and of itself, it's both solving a problem that we have with video conferencing, but more so than that, it's really a return to what it means to be human, to what it means to collaborate and talk to someone in the physical world that we're all so accustomed to. Bringing that and making that a capability of a software is really powerful.
So give us an example of a client and how they're using your tools.
So a lot of our clients are environmental designers. That's like architects, engineers, people that are building physical spaces. And they have a unique challenge, which is they have to take a very ambitious idea for an environment and take it from idea inside of my head to a fully built out space. And along that road, you have a tremendous amount of coordination to do with different people. And it's a process of trying to transport the gap of perception, trying to get from what I perceive in my mind is true to you understanding and aligning on my perception of reality. And so what The Wild does is it allows you to not just visualize that space for all of those different third parties, but allows you to experience it together. So we can go together inside of that space, that building, whether it's a skyscraper or, my living room, a redesign of my residential living room, and allows you to align on those ideas, what I want to do, and you understanding what I want to do.
Has your mission changed at all? Or have you seen new applications as a result of this quarantine?
So I wouldn't say that our mission has changed so much as it has accelerated. We've always had this foundational vision of immersive collaboration from anywhere. What COVID has done and what quarantine has done has shown a lot of the waste in the way that we collaborate historically, just immediately on its face for the entire world in one foul swoop. That is an incredibly rare opportunity to show that how we've been working doesn't when it doesn't work anymore, it allows all of those problems therein to just emerge and come to the forefront. And that's what's happened here. And so I feel like in the course of a couple months, we accelerated what in my mind was going to take at least 3 to 5 years. We got to this sort of universal perception that we need a better way to work together from anywhere on this planet. We need a more sustainable way to work together from anywhere on this planet. The commuting that we're doing to and from an office really doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense for me to be in a car commuting to my office every day just so that we can share a physical space together. It definitely doesn't make sense to get on a plane and fly across the country for one meeting, stay overnight, and then fly back to my home.
Folks in an office talk about being in the idea flow, and the chance encounters on the stairway that lead to ideas. Is that important, and can you replicate that in these environments?
Absolutely. A big part of work is not just the work. A big part of work is our relationships, that surround the work. And a lot of that it's very human. It's very, I think a lot of us know that sometimes it's great to take a vacation, like to get away, because it lets your mind clear. And then you think of a problem from a new way, rather than just like cramming on the work and trying to solve a problem. I think that's a macro way to look at it. In micro ways, even just like walking through the hallway and bumping into a coworker and talking to them gives us those micro breaks within our day that we're not really seeing right now, because it's like staring at these cameras all day and sitting at desks, and that monotony of that experience is very hard for us as humans. It's exhausting, honestly. And what the Wild and other virtual and augmented reality tools do is they offer you some of that humanity back. They say, we can create a space where we could do work together. We could create a space where like my whole team, just recently we played like a tournament of checkers together in the wild, which was awesome. Like everyone had different checkers boards, and then we like did a deduction down to like 2 players. I really lost terribly.
Where did you get the name, The Wild?
Sure. So WILD is actually an acronym that stands for Wake-Induced Lucid Dream, or at least in my brain it does. A lucid dream is something I've always been obsessed with. The idea of a lucid dream is a dream where you're dreaming. A wake-induced lucid dream is a methodology to sort of intentionally have a lucid dream. And there are many techniques, that you can do to do this. But I think it stands for a more fundamental idea, which is allowing humans a new phase of evolution, really, which is to access a dream state, a state where really anything is possible, and to be able to share that with others.
The Wild is a much better place than the Matrix.
Yes, for sure. I mean, the thing is also an important piece to understand about all of this spectrum of immersive computing is it's not just about creating a new reality. It's about creating software that is built for humans. So not just transporting ourselves to like an imaginary playground, but really creating software that lives around us rather than going to a device. So not holding up my phone screen and staring into it or sitting down at these computer screens, but rather by putting this headset on, suddenly I'm activated, my hands are activated, I can see my hands, I can physically move around just like I do in the physical world. And that could be more or less augmented. So this is where augmented reality comes in, which is augmented reality is sort of a hybrid of not being in a purely virtual space, but being connected to the physical room that you're inside of.
A lot of people do think there's going to be an incredible burst of entrepreneurship during COVID and quarantine. And it certainly seems plausible because, as you said, the big problems have become more immediate during this, right?
Yeah, nothing spurs change like struggle. Our ability to create something better comes out of the pain that we feel and us trying to address that pain and solve these problems. And so I think that what we're seeing right now and what I think we'll see in 2021 is a huge resurgence of entrepreneurship and disruption. The ability for people to, because we've seen so clearly the issues that have existed for so long, we felt it this year, that we are, as a collective, diving into addressing those problems. And that's the beauty of humanity, man. We don't give up. We see a problem and we dive in to solve that problem. And I'm really encouraged by that, even with all of the struggles and sometimes infighting that happens along the way. Focus on the positive, which is, let's come together and try better, try to do better, hope for better, expect better, and make it happen.
I appreciate that message. I appreciate your optimism. And Gabe, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you. It was good to talk to you.